Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the starship Eagle 9 in its 45-second mission to colonize Mars, to rescue stranded astronauts and their equipment, to clear habitable living areas, to collect supplies, to boldly go where no man has gone before. Space Y.
Our Space-Y mission to Mars has 5 main objectives. Number 1, clearing boulders from the habitat zone, worth 6 points each. 2, collecting supply crates from the edge of the home zone, worth 10 points each. 3, landing spacecraft in the safe zones on the side of the Manor Ridge, worth 15 points each. 4, rescuing injured astronauts and damaged rovers from the top of the Manor Ridge, worth 28 points each. And finally 5, egressing out of the landslide zone out of the mountain ridge, doubling the astronaut and the rover score.
Initially, in order to lay a solid foundation for our brainstorming, we created a function tree describing everything our spacecraft should accomplish to earn points, as well as the constraints including energy and size. As you can see here in the top left, our only sources of energy are whatever we can harness from gravity, the potential from 5 mousetrap springs, the electricity powering 2 motors, one large and one small, and 2 solenoids, one large and one small, and the pressure in a small tank of air which powers 2 pneumatic actuators.
Once all of the needs were laid out, we used the Hassel quality to assess what our focuses should be and create engineering requirements. We determined that precision and stability were the 2 highest needs after the main competition objectives and requirements. Objectives related to the Manor Ridge were deemed the most important objectives, and boulders were deemed the least important, because they have such low point values. Time to trigger was amongst the most important needs, because we determined in order to gain the most amount of points from the astronauts, rovers, and supply crate collections, the machine needed to be faster than other competitors. Another design requirement that was very important in our process was the need to fit within a 2 foot by 1 foot by 1.5 foot box. As you can see, all of the main point scoring mechanisms, like gathering crates, rescuing astronauts and rovers, clearing boulders, and landing spacecraft, have a strong correlation with the size of the machine, and consequently, this was one of the most difficult things to design around, and often was the main limiting factor in many of our prototypes. When we first started this project, it became clear that time was very limited, and if we fell behind schedule at all, it would be very difficult to catch up and complete all of the prototyping, testing, and coding that would be necessary for the final machine. As such, we used the Gantt chart to schedule exactly when we would work on specific subsystems. As you can see, we allotted about a week for each subsystem, as well as an additional week to integrate them all into the final design. Most importantly, we left several days of spare time in the event that something unexpected came up that we would need to address.
With these priorities in mind, we started prototyping various ideas. We used a morph chart to come up with different systems to be used in these designs. Concept 1. Hopper. Pros: easy to reset and egress as well. Cons: not stable. Concept 2. Eagle 9. Pros: quick and stable. Con: not easy to reset. Concept 3. Rolly. Pros: collects all the supply crates. Cons: not precise. Concept 4. Scissor hands. Pros: low cost and maintenance. Con: cannot land spacecraft easily. Concept 5. Trackstar. Pros: collects boulders and crates with one arm. Cons: not quick. Using an evaluation matrix, we judged the designs based off their efficiency and effectiveness at completing the tasks outlined in the function tree and House of Quality. We then rated their ability to complete these tasks from 0 to 4. The scores were totaled and averaged. With a score of 3.1, Eagle 9 was selected for its ability to complete all of the competition tasks, minus boulder clearing, with the top ratings while also being quick, stable, and precise. The Eagle 9 is composed of 2 main subsystems. The Mountain Ridge subsystem performs the task of landing spacecraft in the safe zones on the side of the mountain ridge and collecting astronauts and rovers on top of the ridge. The spring-loaded arm immediately swings forward on deployment to be ready to guide any passing astronaut or rover down to our home zone. As soon as the machine is triggered, a pneumatic actuator launches the whole subassembly on sliders to the mountain ridge. When it reaches the mountain ridge, the spacecraft, which are housed inside of a PVC tube, are released into one of the two green safe zones by a solenoid, which activates when the roller switch is clicked twice in rapid succession by the safe zone beacons rotating with the mountain ridge. Once the spacecraft has been successfully deployed and we have rescued the astronauts and rovers, our mountain ridge subsystem egresses via a string attached to the base, which is wound by a motor. The supply crate collection system consists of two T-shaped arms. When the machine is activated, a second pneumatic actuator coupled with the power from two mousetrap springs on each arm launch the arms towards the edges of our home zone, where the supply crates are located. When the arm hits the track, the inner part of the arm, which is fixed vertical for boxing, is flung horizontal, enabling us to capture an additional two crates on either side. The spring and self-deploying parts of the arm are what give them their speed to beat the other team's arms to the supply crates. Once they deploy and hit the track beyond the supply crates, the arms are pulled back towards the bot using a string attached to the mousetraps being wound by a second motor.
During the competition, our Mars rover performed extremely well, consistently landing all of the spacecraft and retrieving at least one rover or astronaut. We ran into a small problem with the arms in that the mousetraps in the middle of the arms deployed so fast that they over-rotated and hit the ground too soon, sometimes sending the supply crates into our competitor's home zone. Despite this, the consistency of our Mountain Ridge system allowed us to maintain a high score and bring us from the 26th seed all the way to 4th place.